Live from New Delhi, you're watching DD India Newshour, India's voice to the world. I'm Amritpal Singh. Coming up in the next hour, Omani Foreign Minister meets Iranian and US delegations separately. Iran says agreed with US to proceed with negotiations at a later date. Talks held in a positive atmosphere. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacts with students in the 9th edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha, says need to strike balance between life skills and professional skills. Suicide bomber strikes at a Shia mosque during Friday prayers in Islamabad. At least 31 killed, 160 injured. And India script history in Harare, win the Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup title for the record 6th time. Defeat England in the summit clash. Talks between Iran and the United States were held on Friday in Oman. They've ended. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi described the atmosphere of talks with the US as positive, with both sides agreeing to proceed with negotiations at a later date. He also clarified that the talks with the US focus solely on the nuclear issue.
Iran and the United States held indirect talks in Oman on Friday that were seen as a critical chance to avert any new escalation between the foes after President Donald Trump threatened military action. The talks were the first between the two since the United States joined Israel's war with Iran in June with strikes on nuclear sites. The timing of the negotiation was also important as it held just under a month after Iranian authorities launched a crackdown on protests that left thousands dead, according to rights groups. Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi described the atmosphere of the talks with the United States as positive, with the two sides agreeing to proceed with negotiations.
In a very positive atmosphere, our arguments were exchanged and the views of the other side were shared with us. Two sides agreed to continue negotiations, but we will decide on the modalities and timing at a later date.
Iran's top diplomat said that negotiators from Iran and the United States will decide on the way forward for their talks after consultations back in their respective capitals. US Middle East envoy Steve Witkoff, accompanied by Trump's influential son-in-law Jared Kushner, led the US delegation, while Iran's Foreign Minister Abbas Araghchi led the Iranian side at the talks. Oman's foreign ministry published a statement saying al-Busaidi met separately with Araghchi, then with US Mideast Special Envoy Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner. The foreign ministry said that the talks focused on preparing the appropriate circumstances for resuming the diplomatic and technical negotiations. Oman also said that the importance of these negotiations is in light of the parties' determination to ensure their success in achieving sustainable security and stability. Bureau Report, DD India.
And in Pakistan, at least 31 people were killed and more than 170 injured after an attacker opened fire and detonated a suicide bomb outside a Shia mosque in capital Islamabad on Friday. The attack was the deadliest in Pakistani capital since September 2008, when 60 people were killed in a suicide truck bomb blast that destroyed part of a five-star hotel in the city. Officials say the assailant was challenged by security guards as he attempted to enter the Khadija Tul Khubra Imambara compound on the outskirts of the city before triggering the explosion. No group has claimed responsibility so far, while Prime Minister Shahbaz Sharif has said that those behind the blast would be found and brought to justice. Security agencies and forensic teams have launched an investigation at the site as authorities tighten security amid fears of further violence. Russia and the United States are signaling a willingness to reopen nuclear arms control discussions after expiry of the New START treaty, raising fresh questions over the future of strategic weapons limits among the world's top nuclear powers. Here's more in this report.
Russia and the United States say they recognize the need to begin talks soon on nuclear arms control following the expiry of the New START treaty that capped strategic nuclear weapons. Officials from both sides meeting in Abu Dhabi said they had reached an understanding to act responsibly after the landmark 2010 treaty expired.
Of course, the provisions could be somehow formally extended, though any informal extension in this area are hard to imagine. But there is an understanding, and this was, among other things, discussed in Abu Dhabi, that both sides will take responsible positions and both sides recognize the need for prompt negotiations on this issue.
Moscow says it prefers dialogue with Washington but remains prepared for all scenarios.
Our position, which was presented by our ministry, was described in detail, and we will proceed from the fact that Russia is ready for any further development. For sure, we prefer to have a dialogue, and we will await information on the US readiness to do the same.
The developments come after the United States pushed for broader talks involving Russia and China to set new limits on nuclear weapons.
Look, the president's been pretty clear that he wants a better agreement. As we all know, New START expired yesterday. The president clarified again last night that he wants a new treaty. And look, in a nutshell, New START was flawed. It didn't cover theater-range nuclear weapons, and it didn't include China.
China has already rejected joining disarmament negotiations at this stage, while Russia suggested the inclusion of other nuclear-armed states like Britain and France. With the last major arms control treaty now expired, the focus shifts to whether rival powers can bridge differences and build new framework to prevent unchecked nuclear arms race. Bureau Report, DD India.
And governments around the world are moving to limit social media access for teenagers. From Europe to Asia, countries are considering stricter rules on social media for children under 16, citing growing concerns over addiction, cyberbullying, and mental health. Here's a closer look at how this global debate is unfolding.
A global push to limit social media use for teens is gaining momentum. From Europe to Asia, countries are eyeing stricter rules for users under 16. The move is driven by concerns over digital addiction, cyberbullying, their impact on mental health, and other online harms. Australia made headlines last year when it banned social media for under 16s, with fines up to $32 million for online platforms that failed to comply. This world-first law has prompted other countries to follow suit. France's National Assembly recently approved a bill to ban children under 15 from using social media. Spain has proposed a similar ban for under 16s, while Greece, Denmark, Norway, and the UK are also debating age limits. In Asia, Malaysia is debating whether to enforce a social media ban for under 16s under its Online Safety Act. In India too, the issue has gained traction. The latest economic survey warned that digital addiction among both children and adults affects cognitive and social development. The survey added that it also impacts physical health, with lifestyle diseases such as diabetes, heart conditions, and obesity on the rise.
To understand digital addiction in children, I think one of the best ways is to look at some signs and symptoms. You will see an increased amount of meltdowns and crying bouts, especially if you take away the devices, sudden mood swings, anxiety and restlessness, a certain sadness when they're not engaging with the app, a loss of interest in other things like toys and hobbies and sports and friends and neighbors and family members, and talking excessively about the app or the game. You'll see children who play a lot. Their entire world becomes that. They're only talking about what they won, how much they won, what gear they bought in that app, stuff like that. We also see The inability to engage afterwards with people. Sleep and food, those things get affected too. They start lying about and sneaking around their gadgets and stuff like that. And in general, decline in attention span is a reality.
However, tech giants are pushing back. Telegram founder Pavel Durov and Elon Musk slammed Spain's proposed ban as dangerous, warning it could lead to a surveillance state. Earlier, companies like Meta and TikTok argued that banning teens from social media would only drive them to unregulated apps or the dark web. But as incidents of online harm rise, countries seem to be coming around to the view that the risks can no longer be ignored. The debate over teen social media use is only getting bigger.
And still to come up on DD India Newshour, Kremlin says Ukraine talks in Abu Dhabi were difficult but constructive. Italy's Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni meets J.D. Vance in Milan ahead of the Olympic opening ceremony. An extremely rare Michelangelo drawing sets record for the artist at auction.
Food systems contribute to a third of global planet warming emission. In today's episode, let's take a look at what happens when food systems stop working for everyone.
After Hattibondo arrived, we discussed as a village the challenge that we were facing. And we came to the conclusion that we should sow some crops, especially for the elephants.
The Meramo Cafe is basically promoting the circular economy. So there's not much transportation involved in that process. So this is one way that we are reducing the carbon emission from that point of view.
Is probably laughing because despite the fact that they're cleaning up other people's problems for free, it seems like nobody here actually wants them to be doing it.
You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Amritpal Singh. Kremlin on Friday said that 2 days of talks with Ukraine, mediated by the US, on how to find a possible end to the war were difficult but constructive and will continue. A second round of talks between the warring sides ended on Thursday with no breakthrough on key issues announced, but the warring sides exchanged dozens of captured soldiers on the same day. Ukraine, Russia and the US all claimed some progress in the talks without giving details, but said more work needs to be done. Ukraine also said that negotiations are set to continue. The US is pushing for an end to the conflict. A top Russian military intelligence official who was shot in his Moscow apartment building and rushed to a hospital on Friday, the latest in a series of assassination attempts on Russia, has blamed it on Ukraine. Investigators say that an unidentified gunman fired several shots at Lieutenant General Vladimir Alexeyev, who's the deputy head of the GRU, that's Russia's military intelligence arm, before fleeing the scene. Alexeyev, whose work has been recognized by President Vladimir Putin with a Hero of Russia award, was reported to be in a serious condition in the hospital. Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov accused Ukraine of being behind the assassination attempt, which he said, without citing evidence of course, was designed to sabotage the peace talks. There was no immediate comment from Ukraine. The Kremlin said it hoped that the general would survive and recover. Putin has been briefed on the shooting and Russia's intelligence services are investigating the case. Italian Prime Minister Giorgia Meloni met with US Vice President J.D. Vance in Milan on Friday, just hours ahead of the opening ceremony of the Winter Olympics. The meeting, also attended by US Secretary of State Marco Rubio, was used to reaffirm strong US-Italian ties despite tensions over the presence of American security personnel at the Games. The talks come amid political backlash in Italy after reports reveal that analysts linked to a unit under US Immigration and Customs Enforcement would support the US delegation during the Olympics. A United Nations committee has approved exemptions from wide-reaching sanctions against North Korea to allow fresh humanitarian aid to reach the country, amid a push by Seoul and Washington to engage Pyongyang. According to diplomatic sources, the members of the UN Security Council Sanctions Committee on North Korea unanimously agreed on Thursday to exempt sanctions on 17 humanitarian projects for North Korea. The projects, all of which are undertaken by international bodies like the UNICEF and NGOs based in South Korea, the United States and other countries, had been pending since the first half of 2025. The UN Security Council adopted Resolution 1718 in 2006, following the North's sixth nuclear test in violation of earlier sanctions, banning the transfer of arms, fuel and other items that had been included in the aid packages. The UN on Thursday condemned a terrorist attack in Nigeria's Kwara state that killed at least 170 people and called for those responsible to be brought to justice. UN spokesperson and Secretary General offered condolences and called for those responsible to be brought to justice.
Secretary General strongly condemns the terrorist attack of February 3rd in Kwara State in Nigeria, which reportedly killed over 100 people. The Secretary General conveys his heartfelt condolences to the families of the victims and to the people and government of Nigeria, and he, of course, wishes a speedy recovery to all those injured.
Let's now take a look at other stories making news around the world. The death toll from a devastating landslide in Indonesia has climbed to 74, nearly 2 weeks after the disaster struck a mountain village in West Java. The landslide was triggered by heavy rainfall on January 24th, burying dozens of homes and forcing hundreds of residents to flee. The Netherlands has officially returned a 3,500-year-old Egyptian sculpture after it resurfaced at a Dutch art fair in 2022. Experts believed that the artifact was originally a part of a block statue originated from Luxor, a city in south of Egypt. It depicts a senior official from the reign of Pharaoh Thutmose III. The Drina River in Bosnia is facing a massive pollution crisis, with plastic bottles, tree branches and other waste clogging its surface. Environmental groups blame illegal dumps along the riverbanks in neighboring municipalities. A rare Michelangelo sketch depicting the right foot of the Libyan Sibyl from the Sistine Chapel ceiling is set to go under the hammer at Christie's with an estimated value of $2 million. The Italian Renaissance master sketched the piece around 1510 of AD in red chalk as part of his preparation for the painting the famous painting the famous ceiling in the Vatican. About 5 inches tall, the drawing is considered extremely rare. And now news from the business world. Social media app giant TikTok was charged on Friday by the European Commission for allegedly breaching EU online content rules, with regulators citing the app's addictive features. The social media platform has been ordered to change its design or face fines up to 6% of the ByteDance's global turnover. The EU watchdog highlighted features such as infinite scroll, autoplay, push notifications and highly personalized recommendations that encourage compulsive use. It said that TikTok failed to adequately assess the impact on users' mental and physical well-being, particularly for children and vulnerable adults. TikTok criticized the findings, arguing its algorithm is central to its global success. The move highlights the EU's broader crackdown on big tech, which has already targeted Meta's Facebook and Instagram and requested information from Snapchat, YouTube, Apple and Google on age verification systems. The Reserve Bank of India today left policy repo rates unchanged at 5.25% after undertaking a comprehensive review of the evolving macroeconomic scenario and the broader economic outlook.
The Reserve Bank of India has decided to keep the policy repo rate unchanged at 5.25% following a detailed assessment of evolving macroeconomic conditions and the overall economic outlook. RBI Governor Sanjay Malhotra said that the standing deposit facility rate remains at 5%, while the marginal standing facility rate and the bank rate continue at 5.5%.
After a detailed assessment of the evolving macroeconomic conditions and the economic outlook, the MPC voted unanimously to keep the policy repo rate unchanged at 5.25%. Consequently, the STF rate remains at 5% and the MSF rate and the bank rate at 5.5%.
RBI Governor Malhotra said India's economy continues on a steady growth path, with real GDP expected to expand by 7.4% this year. CPI projections for the first 2 quarters of the next fiscal have been revised slightly upward to 4% and 4.2% respectively. He added that budgetary measures along with trade agreements such as the India-EU Free Trade Agreement and proposed India-US trade deal are likely to support exports.
Real GDP growth projections for Q1 and Q2 of next year, that is 2026-27, are revised upwards slightly to 6.9% and 7% respectively.
President of IMC Chamber of Commerce and Industry said that the monetary policy was on expected lines.
This was what was expected. We are at 5.25 and that's good enough for us. We are growing robustly, we are resilient and we do not need a change right now. And I feel with all the influx of liquidity in the right places like the digital protection and the MSMEs, we are on the right path.
On the consumer protection front, the RBI will issue 3 draft guidelines related to mis-selling, recovery of loans, and engagement of recovery agents, and limiting customer liability in unauthorized electronic banking transactions. Additionally, it has proposed a framework to compensate customers up to 25,000 rupees for losses incurred in small value fraudulent transactions. Sharma Mishra's report for DD India.
Maintaining a neutral stance signals the central bank's intent to assess past easing and evolving global and domestic risks while retaining flexibility to act if conditions change. With camera person Kapil Maske, this is Sharma Mishra for DD India, Mumbai.
And with New Delhi all set to host the India AI Impact Summit 2026, the spotlight is firmly back on artificial intelligence. As over 6 million employed in the tech and AI ecosystem, AI has become vital for Indian startups. The government's initiatives like India AI Mission have helped boost innovation in this field. This report has more details.
From boosting workers' productivity to providing data-driven services, artificial intelligence is revolutionizing India's startup ecosystem. According to government data, over 6 million people are employed in the tech and AI ecosystem. India hosts more than 1,800 global capability centers, including over 500 focused on AI. Nearly 89% of newly launched startups used AI in their products or services. Leading sectors in AI adoption include consumer goods, retail, financial services, insurance, and healthcare. A Stanford University survey ranked India 3rd globally in artificial intelligence competitiveness based on growth and innovation metrics. The government's India AI Mission and the AI Centers of Excellence initiatives are at the heart of this transformation, making AI affordable and accessible. Launched in 2024, India AI Mission marks a defining step towards making India a global leader in artificial intelligence. It's building a comprehensive ecosystem that drives innovation, supports startups, and ensures the responsible use of AI for the public good. From an initial target of 10,000 graphics processing units or GPUs, India now has 38,000 GPUs, providing affordable access to world-class AI resources. A GPU is a specialized electronic circuit that can process many pieces of data simultaneously. To encourage research-driven innovation, the government has also set up AI centers of excellence in key sectors like healthcare, agriculture, and sustainable cities. These centers serve as collaborative spaces for academia, industry, and government institutions. For startups, artificial intelligence has become a trusted digital companion. Be it customer support or analytics, AI is helping startups innovate faster while cutting costs. Bureau Report, DD India.
And still to come up on DD India Newshour, as the Prime Minister motivates school children ahead of board exams, we talk about his mantra for youngsters with a special guest on the show. And Prime Minister Modi to embark on a two-day visit to Malaysia on Saturday.
Can the US launch a bombing campaign against Iran? The Philippines vessel suffered structural damage. The saga of child sexual abuse is the United States China's debt trap strategy. Truth is stranger than fiction. But sometimes hard to uncover. Trust us to tell the truth, unadulterated and pure, of every story that matters to you. You read between the lines, cut the clutter, and connect the dots to get you the full picture. Watch Connecting the Dots at these times with me, only on DD India.
You're watching DD India Newshour. I'm Amrit Pal Singh. Prime Minister Narendra Modi interacted with students during the 9th edition of the Pariksha Pe Charcha 2026 at his New Delhi residence. Prime Minister spoke on exams, stress management, skills, life values, urging students to trust their own learning pace. He emphasized balancing marks with skills, focusing on life skills, creativity, and continuous learning.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi on Friday interacted with students during the 9th edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha 2026, held at his residence in New Delhi. The informal session covered exams, learning habits, stress management, skills, and life values. Addressing concerns about conflicting advice from parents and teachers, Prime Minister urged students to trust their own learning rhythm, adopt useful suggestions through experience, and remain honest with themselves. On marks versus skills, PM Modi described education and skills as inseparable twin siblings, stressing the importance of life skills, continuous learning, and adaptability.
सर अभी मुझे है ना टेक्नोलॉजी और रोबोटिक्स में बहुत इंटरेस्ट है, तो आजकल कई बार आपने भी बोला था कि स्किल ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, और बाहर भी लोग बोलते हैं मार्क्स ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है, स्किल ज़रूरी है, मार्क्स ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है। ऐसा ही सोच के हमारे अंदर एक डर बैठ जाता है। तो आप बताइए कि स्किल ज़्यादा ज़रूरी है या फिर मार्क्स ज़्यादा ज़रूरी?
हर चीज में संतुलन होना चाहिए, बैलेंस होना चाहिए। एक तरफ झुकोगे तो गिरोगे कि नहीं गिरोगे?
यस सर।
और सही बैलेंस करके रहोगे तो गिरोगे क्या कभी?
नो सर।
तो ये सिंपल सी बात है। अब दूसरी बात है, स्किल में भी दो प्रकार के स्किल है। एक है लाइफ स्किल, दूसरा है प्रोफेशनल स्किल। उसमें भी कोई मुझे पूछेगा कि साहब लाइफ स्किल में ध्यान देना चाहिए कि प्रोफेशनल, मैं कहूंगा दोनों में देना चाहिए।
The session featured cultural performances by students, which the Prime Minister appreciated. He welcomed students with Assam's traditional gamosa, calling it a symbol of respect and women's empowerment in the Northeast. On stress and focus, PM Modi emphasized complete involvement in learning, peer learning, and effective time management, sharing practical tips to reduce pressure. On stress and focus, PM Modi emphasized complete involvement in learning, peer learning, and effective time management, sharing practical tips to reduce pressure. Addressing career choices, including gaming, PM encouraged constructive and creative pursuits while cautioning against harmful practices like gambling and urged parents to support children's individual abilities. Prime Minister inspired students to dream big and back dreams with action, advising them to read biographies of great personalities.
सपने देखने ही चाहिए, लेकिन सपनों को गुनगुनाते रहना ये कभी काम नहीं आता है। और इसलिए जीवन में कर्म को प्रधान देना चाहिए। मैं जहां हूं वहां मुझे सफल होना है, तभी मैं आगे जाऊंगा।
The interaction concluded with cultural performances and gift exchanges. The next episode of Pariksha Pe Charcha will be aired on 9th February.
And to talk more about that, I'm joined by Prachi Pandey. She's a Joint Secretary in the Ministry of Education, Government of India. Thank you, Ms. Pandey, for being on the show. You know, a student from Gujarat asked the Prime Minister, while parents worry for them, teachers support them, but the issue arises when teachers suggest one study pattern, parents insist on another, students follow another trend, they are confused which pattern is correct. So even when they listen to the Prime Minister telling them, giving the motivational mantra, how much of a difference does it make to those who interact or those who listen or see this interaction? Because this was the 9th edition of the Pariksha Pe Charcha. Do you have some kind of a feedback mechanism in your ministry where how far do these motivational sessions go for motivating students?
That's it's a very apt question because definitely we are now in the 9th edition. So let me take it one by one.
Okay.
They started in 2018 with just about 22,000 viewers and participants. Today, we have crossed 4.5 crore registrations, and that we broke our own Guinness record of last year, which was 3.5 crore. So clearly, the numbers themselves show that there is a certain value added that happens, that value added that the viewers, the participants actually get. Another aspect of this is when there is a direct relationship between the Honorable Prime Minister and the children. Today's generation, the generation that we call Generation Alpha, they have a different language, they have a different thought process. But at the end of the day, they are children. And when somebody, who has the stature of not just the first citizen of the country, but also that of an elder in the family, that is a relationship which the Honorable Prime Minister has managed to actually, establish. He uses the kind of language. He does not lecture to the children. He offers experiences from his own life, and that is why I think he has such a strong connect. But it's not just the children. We have seen an increase in the participation and registrations of teachers as well as parents. We have registrations from almost 245 foreign locations. These are all evident that there is a certain value that is coming when people are listening to the Honorable Prime Minister. And there is a certain freshness and innovation that we do every year. We manage to bring in something which includes more and more people, whether it is translating the exam warrior book into different languages, bringing it out in braille, or connecting it to life skills, through our activities that we undertake between Swami Vivekanand Jayanti and Netaji Subhash Chandra Bose Jayanti every year. So there is something which is new and fresh every year. For instance, this year it was PPC on tour. The feedback mechanism that you talked about, our feedback mechanism starts the very second PPC ends.
Okay.
So we start, we start seeing what do the children want, what do they need, and that is why this time we actually went to different parts of the country instead of just bringing everybody to Delhi. So that's how we are making the Pariksha Pe Charcha actually into a people's movement, a Jan Andolan.
Okay, that's interesting. No, the Prime Minister is a popular leader. And I'm not just saying it because Doordarshan is saying it. He's a popular leader in the country. But do you do some kind of a pre-homework for the Prime Minister? What language does this new generation understand? The Gen Alpha. What are their concerns? What are their confusions? What are their aspirations? So that he can speak about those issues and in the language that they understand.
It's actually it's a three-stage process.
Okay.
The children or any of the people who are registering, they register with a question that they can just, they can log on and they can put that question to the Honorable Prime Minister. After that, at the state level, at the district level, all those questions are analyzed by the SCRTs. And, they are grouped thematically into, the kind of topics that the children want to learn about or they want to discuss, what topics the parents or the teachers wish to discuss. And after that filtration process, it comes to the national level. And there also we look at it. And there's obviously, there's when we look at all these questions which are coming in, and there are certain questions which are getting repeated, certain themes, topics, which are obviously of some amount of, what shall I say, anxiety or any other apprehension or doubt. And that's why we focus on those topics.
Okay. And okay, if we talk about this edition of Pariksha Pe Charcha, what did the students go back with?
So they have gone back with tips about how to basically believe in themselves.
Okay.
That's one thing which I thought in this Pariksha Pe Charcha was stressed again and again. And I think the children, because perhaps in today's day and age, they are exposed to a lot of external factors, whether it is through social media or, through various other competitive processes, whether it is like something like the TV or it is even some games or anything like that, where they are actually interacting with perhaps not with known people. So I think this is something which creates doubts within their minds. And at the same time, there was a person who had asked about, a question where he felt that maybe even people who are close, family, friends, when they come to the house and they actually increase the pressure or the stress level. And I think the Honorable Prime Minister had some very small little tips to tell them that you must believe in yourself, whether it is in the pattern, in the way that you study, or in the way that you approach your life interests. So there was a boy who asked about gaming. And what the Honorable Prime Minister said was that you can succeed in anything which you believe in and which you think that you will make a success of. So I think that's the kind of focus and the self-motivation that the Honorable Prime Minister was able to evoke in the children today.
Okay, Ms. Prachi Pandey, before I let go of you, don't answer this question of mine as a government official working in the concerned ministry, as a bureaucrat who's doing her job, but as a mother, if you have children, would your child want to listen to this sort of a Pariksha Pe Charcha program?
So I can definitely answer it as a mother because my son has been in that age group and he is also giving his board exam this year. So I think this is something of great worth to him, and especially the portions when the Honorable Prime Minister talks about the duties and responsibilities of the parents and the teachers. So I think all children look forward to these kind of discussions. And the most important part of it is that the Honorable Prime Minister actually brings certain topics up, which maybe sometimes they are hesitant to. They are hesitant to speak about it at the dining table.
Okay.
So I think that's exactly why they listen to the Honorable Prime Minister.
All right, if they really do, then you're doing a good job. Thank you, Ms. Prachi Pandey, for being on the show and giving us a context to this. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
And Prime Minister Narendra Modi will embark on a two-day official visit to Malaysia on Saturday. During the visit, the Prime Ministers of India and Malaysia will hold bilateral discussions to review progress under the Comprehensive Strategic Partnership. Here's more.
Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Malaysia will be his third visit to the Southeast Asian nation and the first since Malaysian Prime Minister Anwar Ibrahim's state visit to India in August 2024, when bilateral ties were elevated to a comprehensive strategic partnership. With a diverse agenda on the table, the visit will set the roadmap for future engagement between the two nations.
PM will hold bilateral discussions with the Prime Minister of Malaysia. They will review progress under the India-Malaysia Comprehensive Strategic Partnership, especially in priority areas of cooperation such as trade, investments, defense, security, semiconductors, digital technologies, renewable energy, education, healthcare, and people-to-people exchanges.
The 10th meeting of the India-Malaysia CEOs Forum will also take place in Kuala Lumpur. Prime Minister will interact with leading Malaysian CEOs from key sectors. Malaysia is India's third largest trading partner in ASEAN, with bilateral trade valued at around $20 billion.
On the investment front, our engagement is strong and is growing steadily. Major Malaysian investors like Petronas, Khazanah, IHH Healthcare, IJM Corporation, United Engineers, UEM, etc. have a strong presence in India, while over 200 Indian companies, including 61 joint ventures and 3 Indian PSUs, including those in IT and ITES, manufacturing, construction, and pharmaceuticals, are actively operating in Malaysia.
Digital cooperation and semiconductors will be a key highlight of the visit.
The NPCI is set to sign an agreement with PayNet during the course of the visit. So that will be one of the outcomes expected from the visit. We are in the process of establishing a multi-layered collaboration arrangement through a G2G MOU, semiconductor, industry-led collaborations, and also R&D, both in terms of setting up fabrication centers, also assembly testing centers, etc. Our companies are also interested in collaborating with Malaysia on that.
Prime Minister will also interact with members of the Indian community in Malaysia. At 2.9 million, the Indian diaspora is among the largest overseas and is all set to welcome the Indian Prime Minister.
We are performing Kathak dance, so we are very excited. In fact, we are feeling very proud as a Malaysian to invite him and showing the Indian dance form to him, presenting it. It's a big opportunity for us, so we are very happy.
I think we are very excited to show the unity that we have here and the connection from cultural viewpoint with India, and it's exciting that the Prime Minister itself is coming here to witness it.
We are going to be performing different dance forms, so you can see Odissi, Bharatnatyam, Kathak. We are the Kathak group, and we're going to all perform together on a singular song, showing the different variations that we have in the Indian culture, how different dance forms come together to form this beautiful united country called India. We are very excited to welcome Mr. Narendra Modi, and I hope you like the performance.
This visit underlines India's strong commitment to Malaysia, a key partner in India's Act East policy, Vision Mahasagar, as well as a very important partner in India's broader vision of the Indo-Pacific. Prime Minister Narendra Modi's this visit to Malaysia will not only deepen cooperation in traditional areas, but also new and emerging areas of cooperation, and will also pave way for future cooperation between both the nations. With camera person Vinay and my colleague Shailendra Mishra, this is Meghna Dey for DD India from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
And the Indian diaspora in Malaysia is excited to welcome Prime Minister Modi ahead of his two-day visit to Kuala Lumpur. Speaking to DD India, they said they are thrilled to see him in person and will welcome him warmly. Many local Malaysians are also excited and admire Prime Minister Modi.
Joined in by people from the Indian diaspora who are living here in Malaysia. There are many people of Indian origin here as well who have been living here since generations. We want to speak to them on the excitements that's building up ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Kuala Lumpur to Malaysia. First of all, we'll speak to a few of them, sir. What is the kind of excitement in the Indian diaspora? We have been seeing that number of places, there are a lot of hoardings put up, there are flags, Indian flags, and a lot of excitement building up ahead of the visit.
Yeah, we really welcome to Mr. Modi ji, and all the NRIs and local Malaysians are very excited and eager to see and listen Modi ji. And you know, people here in Malaysia loves lot Modi ji. So he's very, very popular in Malaysia.
Very excited to see Modi ji in person and listen to him. His voice is so energetic. Whenever we hear him, really, I mean, whenever we hear him on media or anywhere else, we really feel very excited, and always he tries to encourage people to go out of the box and do something new. And also my local Malaysian friends, they really say that you got a really very good Prime Minister. He is driving the nation in a very good direction. So that we feel very elated when we hear something from Malaysian people who closely watch him. I think he's one of the most popular leaders in the world.
I'm really excited to see Modi ji here in Malaysia, Kuala Lumpur. His visit definitely reflects the strong connection of India with the global nations, including Southeast Asia.
We were very excited and we are very proud of being Indian, and of course his leadership is commendable. So we are looking forward to see him.
We are happy to see here in Malaysia because first of all we are never seen in India Mr. Narendra Modi ji, and we are feel lucky and feel proud to be Indian. And
we are very excited because Mr. Narendra Modi ji is coming here, and I am so proud of him because he's doing so many work for poor peoples and women also, and he's doing so many works for young generations.
The diaspora clearly an excitement ahead of Prime Minister Narendra Modi's arrival here in Kuala Lumpur in Malaysia. Definitely his third visit to the country, but something that especially the Indian diaspora is waiting for, because the diaspora here is huge, is in numbers especially, and they are contributing to the Malaysian economy as well. So definitely a lot of expectations on the economic front. That's what the diaspora tells us. With camera person Jagmohan, this is Meghna Dey for DD India from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia.
The President of India, Draupadi Murmu, on Friday graced the Black Swan Summit as the chief guest. The event was organized by the government of Odisha in collaboration with the Global Finance and Technology Network in Bhubaneswar. Addressing the Black Swan Summit, the President said it underscores the role of technological innovation in building resilience and collaboration by bringing together policymakers, technologists, financial institutions and investors to discuss key emerging issues.
The Black Swan Summit is a global platform to explore how technological innovation can build more resilience and bring inclusion. I am happy to know that it has brought together policymakers, technologists, financial institutions, and investors on a single platform who have deliberated over 2 days on various topics, ranging from AI and fintech innovation to sustainable finance, digital public infrastructure, and empowerment of small and medium enterprises.
The President of Seychelles, who is on a visit to India, delivered the keynote address at the India-Seychelles Business Forum in Chennai on Friday. The forum discussed ways to further deepen economic and commercial ties between India and Seychelles. It explored new avenues of cooperation in sectors of fisheries, pharmaceuticals, renewable energy, transport, tourism, and social housing, among others. The Minister of State for Petroleum and Natural Gas and Tourism, Suresh Gopi, also addressed the gathering. External Affairs Minister Dr. S. Jaishankar had an in-depth conversation on a wide range of strategic and security issues with the National Defence Minister of Greece, Nikos Dendias, in New Delhi. In a social media post, Dr. Jaishankar appreciated Dendias' many insights and assessments. Okay, talking about Bangladesh now. The Bangladesh Nationalist Party on Friday said that its foreign policy would be guided by the principle of Bangladesh first if it returns to power through the people's mandate in the upcoming national election. BNP Chairman Tariq Rahman unveiled the party's election manifesto at a function in Dhaka where the party outlined its vision for an independent and self-respecting foreign policy. You're watching DD India Newshour. Time now for some sports news. Well, the big news that just came a little while back was that India was crowned as the winners of the Under-19 Men's Cricket World Cup for the 6th time after thumping England in the title clash in Harare on Friday. India bowled out England for 311 runs to wrap up 100 runs victory. Batting prodigy Vaibhav Suryavanshi was unquestionably the star of the innings, producing a sensational 175 runs off 80 balls, the highest individual score ever in the Under-19 World Cup final. The 14-year-old raised to the three-figure mark in mere 55 balls, helping India to record 411 runs for the loss of 9 wickets. Suryavanshi also became the second fastest centurion in the tournament. He now holds the record for the most sixes in a youth ODI innings, surpassing his own maximum against UAE in December. This is India's 6th title. They are most successful team in the Under-19 World Cup history. This was the 10th final appearance overall and the 6th consecutive final. So, and Prime Minister Narendra Modi has extended congratulatory messages to the victorious Indian Under-19 team. He took to X and wrote, and I quote, "Proud of our Under-19 team for bringing home the World Cup. The team has played very well through the tournament, showcasing exceptional skill. This win will inspire several young sportspersons too. Best wishes to the players for their upcoming endeavors." And for more on that, my colleague Suchitra joins us on that story. Suchitra, what a win it was. The 6th win for India. Clearly the dominance of the Indian Under-19 team in world cricket once again stamped.
Yes, Amrit, not only at the under-19 level, but even if we look at the senior level, we can see a total dominance of Team India, and not only in men's cricket, in women's cricket also. We must not forget that recently Indian women, they also won the T20 World Cup, and Indian under-19 captain Ayush Mhatre, he also mentioned the same thing, that Rohit Sharma won the T20 World Cup for the senior team, then Harmanpreet won the T20 World Cup for Indian women team, and he idolizes them, and just following their footsteps, now he has won this Under-19 World Cup. He is the captain, but we must not forget Vaibhav Suryavanshi, the player of the match. And also the player of the tournament. His record-breaking innings will be remembered for a long time, and he's being called the next Sachin Tendulkar, because his talent has been spotted at a very young age. You know, when he got an IPL deal at the age of 13, everyone was talking about Vaibhav Suryavanshi, Who's this guy who has bagged an IPL deal at the age of 13, but he just showed his talent to the world when he became the youngest ever centurion in T20 cricket, when he scored a century in Indian Premier League for Rajasthan Royals at the age of 14. And now he has again showed the world that he is going to be the next star in the world cricket with his innings, his record-breaking innings, and he has broken his own record. So we can say that he is raising the bar high. He is setting a bar, and then he is the only one raising it high. So we can just say that India is currently the superpower in world cricket. And if we look at these young stars of India, the new India, the young India, we can say that the future is surely bright for India in cricket.
Absolutely, the future looks bright if the under-19 boys are playing that well. These boys go into the senior team later. We've seen Virat Kohli in play in under-19. And so that augurs well for Indian cricket, not just presently with the present domination, Suchitra, that you were talking about, but it augurs well for the future. That's all the time we have for. Thank you, Suchitra, for joining us and putting this win in perspective. And that's it in this edition of DD India Newshour. But do let us know your thoughts on the news of the day. For those on the go, you can get all the latest news and updates from India and across the world on DD India's mobile app. The app is available on both Android and iOS platforms. Scan the QR code you see on your screen to download now. We'll be back with more news as it breaks here on DD India. I'm Amrit Pal Singh. From my entire team here in Delhi, thank you for watching DD India Newshour. Bye-bye.